All right, today we're going to talk about email marketing, and email is such a huge part of not only our strategy at Market with Mario, but for our clients as well. I mean, think about it. Everyone checks their email every day, multiple times a day. So it's a great way to stay in touch with your current customers and your prospective customers. So let's go over 4 tips that's going to help you with your email marketing strategy. Tip number 1 is it starts with the list. You have to start to build your list. So here's some tips, a few tips on how to build your list. And what you want to do is you want to make sure you have some kind of a contact form on your website to where someone can enter in their email address at the very least. I mean, sometimes you can set up to where they give you your first name and last name, email address, but at very minimum, any person that comes to your website should be able to enter in their email address. If you're at a trade show or some kind of a marketing event or live event, have an iPad with you and go ahead and enter in their email address. Obviously, you want them to want to be on your list. I cannot stand when someone just adds me to their email list without me wanting it to. So make sure that you give them the selfish reasons why always. Subscribe to our list for tips and etc. But some reason for them to want to subscribe. Also, you can have a form if you have a brick and mortar building to where it's just out in the waiting area, and then they can handwrite their email address. But you always want to be proactively capturing email addresses. The second tip is when you're emailing your list, you want to be consistent. You don't want to email every day and then all of a sudden they don't hear from you for months, and you don't want to email once every 6 months. And also think about your industry too. If you're a roofing company, do people really need an email from you every single day? Probably not. If you're a restaurant, it may make sense to send out your daily special. So whatever you do, whether you email once a month or once a week, be consistent so that way people look forward to your emails and they know they can count on that content. Number 3, and this is a big miss I think, is you want to make sure that it comes from a person. What I mean from that is you don't want your emails to come from an info account or sales ad or something of that nature, something generic. People are more likely to open your email if it comes from a person. So when you get an email from our list, it comes from Mario at marketwithmario.com, and for our clients, we typically put it in one of the owner's names or something of that nature, and so it does not come from an info address. So again, it's going to seem more personal, and you are going to get a much better open rate if you include a name. And fourth, and maybe the most important, is as you start to get subscribers, you want to start to segment your list. What I mean by that is there's different mail services. There's Constant Contact, there's MailChimp. We actually use MailChimp. But you can actually take and segment your audience. So for instance, I have a potential client's audience, and I have a current customer. And so I would not send the same email to all of those people, because it may not make sense, because I may want to send something to my current clients. So it would make sense if you were not a prospective client. For instance, we also have an occupational therapist. They have 2 different clinics. They have one in Houston and they have one in Allen. And so sometimes if we're emailing about an event, we don't want the Allen people to hear about an event going on in Houston, and vice versa. So you can segment by location. You can create your own kind of segmentation. But again, email marketing in general is about getting the right message in front of the right person. And so if you're sending this one subject to a broad audience, it may not resonate with them. So figure out how to segment your audience. If you need help with these types of things, that's our specialty. That's what we do. Online marketing is our thing. And so if you do need help with setting up some email campaigns, let us know. For more tips, subscribe to not only our blog, but also our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Take care.